Morning guys, welcome back to the channel. As promised last week, I'm back in Hare Hills. The Dock Green pub, I remember now. That's what that was for a long time. It was the police station on Stanley Road, aimed at like 40s and 50s, I think. But if you remember last week, we did a little drive around Hare Hills, and I said I was going to visit Beckett Street Cemetery, and so I decided to do it this week. Just on that side of the road, this was the workhouse originally, later on became St James's Hospital, and now it's the Thackray Medical Museum. I think that's the reason why the cemetery was built opposite not the reason why, but the cemetery was built opposite the workhouse. It's one of the oldest cemeteries in Leeds. Don't know a lot about it. This is, as usual, a bit off the cuff this morning. Actually forgot I was coming. I was laid in bed reading the newspaper. Oh, it's padlocked. So this could be interesting. Let's walk round at least. The gatehouse there looks like it's private, which a lot of these places are now, old churches and old graveyards. There's another gatehouse here. Leeds Burial Ground. Huge population growth led Leeds Town Council to pioneer the English municipal cemetery. Here at Beckett Street, Anglicans and dissenters had their own chapels and halves of the cemetery. The 27,000 graves, including many guinea graves, contain 180,000 interments. Opened in 1845. Maybe it's something I'm going to have to come back through the week to do. I mean, Sunday morning, 8 o'clock. Yeah, I'm guessing it must have some sort of opening hours. Should maybe have researched that before I came. Somebody going back to Leeds and Bradford there off their Leeds and Bradford Airport off their holidays. And St James's. Well, it's really odd. I can understand why it's closed overnight. Yeah, makes sense. Because I was going to actually touch on the fact that despite the fact that last week I was telling everybody how great an area this is, and how safe an area this is. That was when I was in my car. and it is, and it's filled with decent people. But over the years, I think some very sketchy things have happened in this cemetery. I'm not actually sure the time I gave myself today was going to be enough anyway. So yeah, some very sketchy things have happened. I think there's been murders and serious crimes. That's always my answer to people when they say, Jimmy's there. Massive hospital. Massive. Two great hospitals in Leeds. St James's and Leeds General Infirmary. I think and again, there's no politics, but I just did notice that the Conservative Party, who've just lost the election, they started spouting already, because the Labour Party, who won the election, they're building loads of houses and they're going to be building in Greenbelt, and people are going to be up in arms about that. So the Conservatives' latest policy, which they never mentioned ever, was we're not going to build on the Greenbelt, we're going to build in cities, and we're going to go upwards. Well, there you go. That's what the 60s and 70s produced, which are fine places to live. But looks like instead of your nice house out in the country, you're going to be expected to come and live in the city in a tower block. If that policy ever saw the light of day. But yeah, I said there's some pretty sketchy things have happened in this cemetery. So that's my answer when people say, don't it bother you going in cemeteries, and why do you have your lunch in a cemetery? And honestly, there's nothing to fear from the dead. It's those living blooming scumbags that you have to worry about. And that is a fantastic wall. Just gonna check something. Okay, guys, I should have done that before I set off, shouldn't I? I've just had a look on the old interweb. City there in the distance. Just had a look on the old interweb, which tells me that on weekdays the cemetery opens at 8:30, and on weekends the cemetery opens at 10 a.m. I'm afraid, which brings me back. Yet there's somebody walking through. You see what I mean? About it being a sketchy place. There used to be a hole in the fence here. And that's another video for another week. If you see the Burton's factory at the far end of that street. It's the largest tailoring shop in the world, and it's an enormous site, and it's getting demolished to build houses on at some point, and I'm going to walk right round that at some point in the future. Well, probably in the near future. Would have done it today if I didn't have to go to work. It'd have probably been a better prospect, and then I could have done the cemetery when I got back at 10 o'clock. Yep, this is my problem with YouTube. It's not that I'm short of ideas, it's just that I'm short of time. Anyhow, I'm not going to grumble. I forgot I was coming here this morning and rushed out the door at 7:30, 7:20, got here for about 10 to 8, which only left me about 40 minutes, which actually now, seeing it on the ground, I don't think I've allocated enough time. I think this is probably going to take me a couple of hours. 1845. If you could imagine Leeds at the time, it was everything around was just back-to-back houses, slums, factories, poor sanitation, cholera outbreaks. I think the main cemetery was by the parish church, and that's described in articles I've read as a dirty, insanitary place. This was built, and then I think they just kept building further out. They built the Leeds General Cemetery that we visited, and the one at Middleton that we visited the other week. But you get a feel for the Burton's factory. We've been walking 500 yards or so. It goes right up to this next street. It's enormous. As I say, I'm going to come soon. I'm going to come on a Sunday for that, because I have no qualms about walking around this area. But as I say, there are some sketchy characters. And I work long and hard to get things like my phone, so I've not really any intentions of some little scrot taking it off me. So to that end, I'll come when it's a bit quieter. And Sunday mornings is, apart from round near the hospital where it seemed to be very busy, So we're back on Stanley Road. Just to give you an idea, I think this was Burton's as well. There's a lot of people around up and about at this time of the morning round here. It's really surprising. Yeah, and it goes all the way up Hudson Road, all the way to the top, and then down, and then along, and then back up. It's enormous. Great ghost sign there. Can't quite make out what it is. If you can make out what it is, let me know. The Lemon Toffs Amateur Boxing Club. I think the guy who I saw walking through the cemetery could have been somebody who lived in one of those houses, or he could have got over the wall on Shakespeare Street on the other side. There used to be Ray's Autos. I don't know if you can see it there. I used to take my car there many years ago. Oh, is it still a garage? And then just to the left there was a famous cafe, Florence Street Cafe they used to call it. It was unusual at the time. I don't know if it's open all night or open about 4 a.m. at a time when there weren't all night eateries. So you'd get everybody in there 6 o'clock in the morning. Everybody. From local law enforcement through to workmen, through to goodness knows who else. If you wanted a breakfast, that was the place to go. Back at the wall of the cemetery now. Have my Beatles moment. Co-op Academy, Nightingale. Blimey, it's a school. It used to be the Leeds City Council refuse site. Huh. Waste disposal. Huh. never heard of co-op academies before. I'm a little bit disappointed, I have to be honest, folks, and could have made a couple of cracking videos this morning, and you might say then you should have got up earlier. Maybe I should, or maybe I should just go on me noticing. But for now, I will say thanks for watching. I'll be back, not sure when, but I do intend coming back to do the video of the churchyard, and also the one of the walk around the Burton's factory. But it will be interesting, the walk around the Burton's factory, if it'll give you some idea of the vast scale of industry that the UK used to have. But for now, so thanks for watching, and cheerio. Hi guys, I hope you haven't gone anywhere, because there's more. I wouldn't have had enough time. I definitely wouldn't have had enough time to have done Beckett Street Cemetery in 40 minutes, as one of my friends told me. He says you need a couple of hours. So what I'm going to do, just to give you a bit of a taster, I'm going to drive round, because it's can't quite drive round the periphery of Burton's, but we're turning onto Hudson Road. So this on the right was the Burton's factory, the largest tailoring factory in the world, a massive employer for this area. You hear a lot about coal mining and steel works and these kind of industries closing. I suppose the difference is, people in cities were dependent on massive organisations, but I suppose there was a little bit of diversity of work in the city, whereas in a coal mining village it was 100%. So yeah, all the way up here, and then even on the right, I think, but then I'd have to, even along here, then I'm going to have to go on foot for a bit of it. We turn right onto Lupton Avenue, is it here? So yeah, as a bit of a taster, I thought I'd just drive round where we're going to be walking in a few weeks' time. This is why I want to come on a Sunday, because I'm going to have to, walk through some of these big estates. I don't really want to do that. It's a dead end. So the factory is just a little bit over on the I think you can actually get through on foot and still kind of follow the boundary of the factory. Torrey Road. Torrey Road Working Men's Club, just on the right there. Used to go there, meet my mum and dad, meet an auntie and uncle who lived over here. the right are the football fields and the sports fields of Burton's. It had massive sports fields. Looks like there's a bit of building gone on in those fields. This was like the driveway up to Burton's. There's a new academy on the right there, Trinity Academy, that looks as if it's been built in the grounds of the what was the sports fields. Not sure I should be going much further. It looks somewhat private. There's no barriers, is there? Yeah, and you can see the factories there in the distance. Huh. Yeah. Warning, Triton security. Yeah. Marketing suite. Ah, blimey. I think I do need to come and make this video sometime soon, because it does look like the car dealers here. Motor World, the motor centre. It does look like they're ready to start building. And a very quick shout out. I do all my videos on my own. That's not really from choice. It's just how it works. I'd be quite happy to do some sort of a collaboration with friends, family. I've done a couple with my grandchildren, but in relation to places I visit, if anybody ever has any contacts or they could get me into places or get me access to grounds, I'm not really one for climbing over fences and going where I'm not supposed to be, but if I'm invited, I'd love to make videos. And from what I can gather, the Burton's factory, a lot of it is still as it was. And so if anybody watching or listening can get me in the Burton's factory by legal means, I would love to go and make a video for posterity. I really would. An old cinema on the left here. I wanted to video it for a while. It's the Al Murad Tiles. I'll get a shot of the front of it when I walk down this way. I had one of the most traumatic experiences of my life in there. 5 years of age, my mother took me to see Bambi. What a horrible film. Shouldn't be allowed to take children that age to see movies like that. Anyhow, that's the bonus content, folks. We're back where we started almost. That's the distance it takes you to drive round the Burton's factory. It's not quite as far walking round. I think you can get down behind all these houses. But I'll come very early one Sunday morning and we'll have an explore. We're not going to disturb anybody. I'll be disturbed. know it's probably not the place for the channel, but I discussed last week the whether to retire and what have you. It's probably not even necessary, but I used to work alternate weekends, and I also used to have every Sunday off in the summer. You make decisions in life, and I'm a big believer you have to stand by them, and if they don't work out, you have to move on. And this was all before I had the YouTube channel, and so at the time I thought every weekend, great idea. Well, honestly, it was a stupid idea. Oh, it's open. 8:27. It's open already. There you go. But I can't go in because I've got to go to work. Yeah, so I thought it was a great idea to work every weekend, and it was a rubbish idea because I would have had every Sunday off in the summer. So every Sunday like this through the summer, I could have gone out and made videos. I only worked alternate weekends throughout the rest of the year, so I had a Saturday and a Sunday off. And it was my decision entirely to work every weekend, but I think with hindsight it was the wrong decision. Leeds has changed. There's bits of it that you can still remember, but there's other bits of it. It's, the Anglers Club, that's still there. It's like a social club, a working men's club, but I think it had an emphasis heavily on fishermen at the time, when it was, I don't know what it's about now. I don't think they have those affiliations, do they? There was a police club in Leeds, but I think that's like a social club now, and there was conservative clubs and Labour clubs and Liberals clubs and working men's clubs. I think if they haven't closed these days, they just open the doors to anybody. But yeah, sorry it wasn't as planned. It wouldn't have mattered if I'd have set off at 6:30 because the place was shut. I would probably then have had time to walk around Burton's, but we'll do both videos. I'll get up early next Sunday. We'll knock one of them off, and I'll get up early the Sunday after, and we'll knock another one of them off. Look at that place, Phoenix. I wouldn't like to say it's not student accommodation, is it? Please tell me it's not student accommodation. Dear. Anyway, we work our way back to a road that, if you've watched the channel before, you'll be all too familiar with. We're back on the ring road. So for now, thank you for watching, thanks for bearing with me. We're on 249 subscribers. It's painfully slow. Can I get to 250 today with this disaster of a video? I really hope so. But for now, thank you for watching. It really do appreciate it. If you've anything to say, then drop me a comment below. Until the next time, cheerio.